Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So today I'm going to be showing you guys 6 different ways that you can start your box braids, just in case you guys are trying to become braiders or just want to improve your skills, or if you just like to learn for your own sake for doing your own hair. I decided to put this video together because I know when I started doing braids, it took me a while to find a starting method that worked for me. So I figured I'll put all these methods that I tried into one easy video, and hopefully it'll help somebody out. So if you guys are interested in learning 6 different methods for starting your box braids, keep on watching. So this first method that I'm going to show you guys is, to me, one of the most basic starting methods for box braids, and I call this a 2-strand method. That's what I've heard it being called. So basically the braiding hair is going to be 2 strands of the braid, and then the natural hair that you have sectioned out is going to be the 3rd strand. So I'm just going to hold the braiding hair over the section that we have left out for the braid. So the braiding hair will be the right and left strand of the braid, and then the natural hair would be the middle strand. And we're just going to automatically start braiding as if we weren't even adding hair. So I just like to grab the middle strand first, and I just bring it over to the left side, and then I just grab that hair that's already on the left side, but I grab it with my right hand, and I just keep on braiding. So this method is really nothing complicated. You're really just pretending that you already had 3 strands of natural hair, except you're substituting it with braiding hair. And obviously, guys, this isn't a real head of hair. This hair is very slippery. I didn't use any products because I didn't want to waste it on a mannequin, so that's why we're going to have this braid slipping out a little bit. But if this were a real head of hair, it'll be a lot easier to grip at the root. So when you're coming down to the end of the natural hair, obviously we need to start borrowing hair because this is not going to make it to the end of the braid. So I like to borrow from both pieces of hair, of braiding hair I mean, so this way we end up with 3 even strands of hair at the end. So as you can see, I just grab from that one piece on the right, and then I'm going to braid again, and then I'm going to grab from that other piece. I like to keep an eye on where I still need to grab hair from, so I know that right here, this is that other piece of hair, so I'm going to grab from there. And then just keep on braiding. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to braid again, but this time I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm not going to slow it down because I lose my grip a lot when I'm braiding slowly, so I'm just going to show you guys again so you have a better idea of how it's supposed to look. So the next method that I'm showing you guys is the rubber band method, and this is really good if you're not really good at gripping just yet. And also I like to use this whenever I'm braiding short hair or if I'm doing really large box braids because it helps prevent them from slipping out. So again, you're going to section the hair for a braid, and then you're going to add your rubber band, and you're going to rubber band that entire section. And then you're going to grab your hair and you're going to do the same thing that you did in the first method, which is where you just place it over that section and use it as the 2nd and 3rd strand of your hair and just start braiding. And you just want to make sure that you have that piece of hair covering that rubber band completely, because it's not cute if you just see that piece of rubber just poking out from the base of every braid in your head. So like I said, this method is good for gripping shorter hair or large braids, or just for if you're not really good at gripping just yet. But for me personally, I would say that if you could avoid using rubber bands, avoid them, just because they always create a big obvious knot at the base of the braid, and not everybody likes that. So it depends on who you are or who your client is. But for me personally, I've noticed a lot of people don't like their knots being very obvious, but you have to have a big knot if you want to cover your rubber band. So just keep that in mind when using this method. But it's definitely good if you're a beginner box braider, or, you know, like I said, just some styles are just hard to grip with, so it's a good option to have. So the next two methods I'm going to show you guys are both crochet methods. One involves a rubber band and one does not. So for the rubber band method, we're going to rubber band our section. And then we are going to be taking our crochet needle, and I'm just going to push it right up through the hair behind the rubber band. And then I'm going to add a piece of hair, and I'm only going to be sliding one half of the hair through that section. So to make sure that I'm covering that rubber band at the base, I'm going to take one strand and just wrap it completely, and then bring it back around to where we started. And you just really want to focus on that rubber band for that moment, and then we're just gonna continue braiding as always. And this is getting really messy here just because my mannequin's hair is really short, so pieces from the other sections of her head that I'm trying to clip out of the way keep on getting in the way, so that's why I'm struggling a little bit. But hopefully you guys can still understand what I'm doing and where I'm going with this. You guys see how that stubborn strand here just keeps on wanting to be in the picture? Like, mind your business, it's not your turn. So for this next crochet method, we're just gonna start by braiding our hair without adding any hair, and we're just gonna plait it about 4 or 5 times. Just basically enough times for it to not unravel when you let it go. So for this mannequin, it took a little more than that because her hair is just so stubborn, it just likes to stay straight. So we're gonna just pretend that I just did it a couple times. And just like with the rubber band method before, we're going to just slide our crochet needle at the base of the braid and bring it through, and then we're just going to slide one end of the braiding hair through to the other side. And what I like about this method is you don't have to worry about hiding any knots because there isn't one, but you do have to make sure that you didn't braid so far that you can see the braid in the braid, if that makes any sense. Me personally, I'm not even a fan of either of the crochet methods when it comes to box braiding, just because I find it extremely time consuming, but some people seem to get this down packed really quickly, so to each their own. Everybody has their own method that works for them, and that's why I'm making a video like this. But this isn't one of my favorites, but it's definitely a helpful method if you're a beginner, or again if you have trouble with gripping hair or gripping your braids. This is a really good start out method, but it's not for me, but it is for somebody. So this next method is a little complicated to explain or show on camera, but I'm going to do my best. So this is the 3-strand method. So we call it the 3-strand method because the braiding here is going to be used in all 3 strands of the braid right from the beginning. So you're going to start with your braiding here, and then you're going to break off about 1/3 of the strand. And you want it to be about 1/3 so that when you fold it over, it ends up being the same density as the other 2 strands, which makes no sense now, but it will. So you're gonna take your thinner section and you're going to fold it over the thicker section. So there you have 3 strands of braiding here. So you guys see what I mean when I say that you want all 3 sections to be even. So the thinner section was folded over, so now it's like the same as the other 2. It makes sense, right? Okay, anyways. Okay, so it's a little difficult to explain how I hold the hair, so I'm just gonna try and show you guys. So this is how I hold the hair. This is what works for me, but after practicing this for a while, you guys will figure out what way works best for you. So here's the section of hair that we have parted off for our braid, and as you can see, I split it into 3 sections already. You don't have to split it, but if you're not very advanced, it just makes it a little bit easier. So basically, you're gonna match each strand of hair that's in your hand to the strand of hair that's natural. So I like to start with the middle strand, so I'm gonna start by grabbing that with my middle finger and my thumb. And then I'm going to grab the piece on the right with my other hand. See guys, it's really hard to explain, so I'm gonna try and do it in slow motion. But it's also really hard to show you guys because when I work slowly, I don't work as well. But basically what you're doing is you are visualizing which strand goes to which strand on the head, and you're just gonna continue the braid. Like, I'm really sorry guys, that's really the best way that I could describe it, and I think I'm just gonna do this again, and I'll just slow down my video so that you guys could see what I'm talking about because it's really hard for me to explain it. Okay, so we're gonna try that again. So basically, again, the strand between my middle finger and my thumb on my left hand is gonna go with the middle strand. The one on top of my middle finger is going to the left side, and then this lonely piece over here is going to the right side. And honestly guys, trust me, if you guys try doing this, it'll make so much more sense than whatever I can show you or what I can say on this camera. And if it's still not making any sense, just look up videos for 3-strand methods for box braiding. I can't explain it, and I don't know why. It's just really difficult for me. And it's sad that I can't explain it because this is actually my favorite method for starting box braids because it has the smallest knot, and I don't know, I just feel like it's the best way to get to grip because every single strand of hair has a partner with braiding hair, if that makes any sense. And also because we already split our section into 3 from the very beginning, we don't have to worry about sharing any hair or borrowing, so you can just keep on braiding. So once that piece of hair is installed, you can just keep on going, and that's what I love about it. So I'm going to show you guys again just because I couldn't really explain it, so hopefully watching me do this one more time helps make it a little bit easier to understand. So do these angles help it make any more sense? If it didn't, that's okay. I understand. Let's just move on, I guess. So this is the final method that I have for you guys, and this is the knotless method. This is so popular right now because it looks like the hair is growing right out of your head because there's no knot. So this is the most natural looking box braid that you can get. This is also the only method where it really matters how much hair you're adding, because you want the hair that you're adding to be equivalent to the size of the hair that you already have sectioned out. So you can't make it too big, or else it's gonna look really funny, and you can't make it too small because then it'll just be really stringy and ugly. So this is basically gonna be the feed-in version of a box braid. So you're just gonna start by just braiding the hair, no added hair. And I just like to braid it like 2 or 3 times, like nothing much really. And I am more comfortable adding hair to my left hand, so when I have the middle strand between the index finger and the thumb of my left hand, that's when I want to add in my first piece of hair. So you're just gonna feed it into your hand just like that and just join. For me, I'm joining the hair to the middle strand and the strand on my right side, and I'm just gonna braid. So we're just gonna plait it in like that. Do 2 crossovers, and then when my left hand is holding the braid again, I'm gonna add another piece. And you're just gonna continue that, and for me, I like to add in like 3 or 4 pieces of hair, just depends on how it's looking. Usually at least 3, just so that I know I have 3 even strands by the end of the braid. But sometimes I add 4 just if I feel like I need more volume. And then once you're done adding hair, you just continue braiding. So the reason the size is so important is because, as you can see, I didn't add hair right there at the base. So if you added a huge chunk of hair right there in the middle of the section, you're gonna have a huge ball of hair right there, and it's gonna look so obvious and so ugly. So you always want to add in thin pieces so that you're not adding too much extra size. Is that making any sense? So then once you're done adding hair, you're pretty much done. You just keep on braiding, unless you want your braid to be longer than the braiding hair that you're adding, but that's pretty much how it is with any braid. You just want to add according to the length, but if you don't have to, if you don't need your hair to be any longer, there's no need to add any more hair. And like I said, this is the most natural looking box braid that you can get because there's no hair at the base. So there's no knot, so it looks like that's all your hair. Alright guys, so those are all the box braid methods that I have for you guys. And I just feel like I need to keep saying this, but this is a mannequin, so this is definitely not the neatest braids you're gonna see, but this was just for teaching purposes, so as long as the method made sense, then I feel good. So I hope this video was able to help somebody out there. If you guys are braiders or starting to braid, please let me know what's your favorite method to use. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you guys like this and would like to see more, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!